going on, Kminustwo? So what you guys have just seen are video clips of one of our spectacular parks we have in the Omaha area. That was Memorial Park, and we're very privileged to have a number of them in the area. Okay guys, so today I want to talk about how I lost $233,000. Okay, so it's a play on words. I didn't actually lose $233,000. I actually lost access to $233,000. Let me explain. So back in 2007, guys, before I met Dave Ramsey, before my financial health enlightenment, my mindset changed, right? 2007 was a little different for me. I filed bankruptcy in 2007 on, guess what? $15,000, guys. I filed bankruptcy on $15,000. Yes. There you go, right? Okay, so I went back and did some math. And stay with me here, right? So I calculated my salary back in 2007, guys. I made $40,000 that year. And I went back and did some calculations. So if you go off my $40,000 salary, right? And you take $15,000 off that salary. So let's break it down. Let's say you got to pay the IRS. Well, let's just make it really simple. All right, that's 20%. So 20% out of $40,000 is $8,000, guys. $8,000 subtracted from $40,000 is $32,000 left, right? That's how much money I got to play with. Living expenses. Let's say we go off the 50-30-20 rule. 50% in a perfect world, 50% goes to your living expenses, 30% goes to your disposable income or your retirement. 20% goes to either your disposable income or your retirement, right? When you're getting out of debt, you have debt, you're going after that debt, 50% goes to your living expenses, and up to, not always, but up to 50% goes to your paying off your debt. So let's use that example. So I'm down to $32,000. Let's use the $32,000 times 50%. Half of that, right, is $16,000. So I got after my living expenses, I have $16,000 left to play with, to pay off this debt of $15,000. Let's say we're gonna do two examples. We're gonna do paying off the debt in 1 year, and then we're gonna do paying off the debt in 2 years. So the first year I put that $16,000 toward my $15,000, right? My debt is gone after 1 year. I have $1,000 left, wiggle room to play with, right? All right, so let's say I pay it off in 2 years, right? I use the $16,000 to pay it off in 2 years. Now, remember, I'm gonna have $16,000, in my little example here, I'm gonna have $16,000 left each year, right? Year number one, year number two, right? All right, the first year I use part of that, my first year is $16,000 to pay off my debt, half of that. So I'm gonna pay off half of that $15,000. That's $7,500, right? Year number one. $7,500 subtracted from $16,000 is $8,500 left in year number one. Year number two, I do the same thing, right? $7,500 coming out of $16,000 to pay off the rest of that. The rest of my debt now is down to $7,500, all right? So I apply the $7,500 to the $7,500, that equals zero, right? So in year number two, my debt's paid off. Now what do I have left? Remember, I took the $7,500 in year number one and year number two. Both years I have $16,000 left each year. So that leaves $8,500 each year. $8,500 times 2 is $17,000, right? So that's what I have left, guys. That's what I have left after 2 years. My debt's paid off. I have $17,000 to play with. Now let's just make it really easy. Let's be really practical here. Let's just say, life happens, right? Let's say life happens to me where, let's just say $2,000 is life happening. So let's just say something happened in my life where I needed $2,000 extra on top of what my living expenses were. Okay, let's just bring it down from $7,000 subtracted $2,000 is $15,000. Okay, so let's use $15,000 as an example here. If we're going off the Dave Ramsey baby steps, this is how we would apply it. All right. The first step in the baby steps is to put a small emergency fund in place, right? To stop life when you're going through your debt process. You put $1,000 in your small emergency fund, right? Your small little emergency fund, and then you're going to attack your debt. Step number two, baby step number two, you're going to attack your debt, right? Smallest to largest, and the debt snowball, right? So you're going to pay off your first small debt to build up momentum, build up confidence, and then you're going to pay off your biggest debt last, right? Your third step, baby step in the Dave Ramsey process, is to go back to your step number one, build up that small emergency fund to your 3 to 6 months of emergency fund, right? For me, I've always felt like, especially with one person, I always felt like 6 months would be the best emergency fund limit to place for myself. Right now I have 6 to 9 months, but that's just where my mindset is at. Some people are different. If you got a two-parent home or a two-person home, you can get away with maybe 3 months, right? But anyway, so guys, that's how it goes, right? The next step in the baby steps are buying a home. 3B, buying a home. Baby step 4 is 15% of your income into in retirement. Baby step 5 is investing in your child's college fund. Baby step number 6 is paying off the home, and baby step number 7 is living and giving like no one else and building wealth. So if you follow that example, you follow those steps, my next step in this process would be, remember, baby, in the year number 2, I'm debt free, right? I got after I put that money in, I got $7,000 left, right? If we go back to my example, my living expenses being $16,000, you break down $16,000 divided by 12 each month. $16,000 by 12, it comes up to $1,333 in my living expenses back in 2007. Let's say I want 6 months of emergency fund in place of my living expenses. Well, that comes out to about $8,000, right? So if I take my $15,000, divide it or subtract by $8,000, that leaves me $7,000 left to play with. Now at that point, I'm debt free. I got my emergency fund in place, and now I'm looking to build some wealth and investing. I take my $7,000 and put it in what I have my investments in now. Let's just say I put my $7,000 in my investment back in 2007. Now what I invest now in, guys, is I break my investments down like this. I put 25, it's all broken down to 4s, right? I put 25% in large cap, which is growth and income. I put my 25% in growth, medium cap. I put my 25% in small cap, which is aggressive growth companies. I put my 25% in international companies. So if I would have done that, man, back in 2007 and just let my $7,000 ride without even contributing to it at all, right? I calculated I would have $20,000 right now in my investment account. Now this is based on me not contributing at all, right? This is also based on the average percentage growth from 2007 to 2023. Minus inflation, the average growth of the stock market, guys, per year from that time period on to now was 6.72%. So if I would average that out, what I had in the bank, my investment, with $7,000, I times that out, I would have $20,000 now in my investment account. Okay, so let's just say I matched it every year. I put the $7,000 in 2007, right, in my investment account, and I matched it every year. Every year from 2007 to now, I would put $7,000 in my account, right? If that was the case, and if the average annual yield in the stock market was 6.72%, I would have $233,000, guys, in my investment account. Think about that. If I didn't invest in it at all, if I just put a $7,000 in there, that'd be $20,000. If I matched the $7,000 each year from 2007 to 2023, I would have at least $233,000. And that's just the at least part, right? All the time and effort and sweat I put into getting that damn bankruptcy taken care of, I would have more money in that investment account if I would have played it right. So what does that tell you guys? Think about what I just said, right? Two things. The emotion we have when we think about bankruptcy, the emotion of it, right? The emotion of what our circumstances are at that time, right? You take that away and just think of these are just numbers and taking the emotion out of your bankruptcy. Me, I would have came out a little better. Two, you think about the power of compound interest, guys. Think about that. The power of compound interest from 2007 to now, 16 years ago. Apply these principles, I would have $233,000, right, on top of what I have now. So that just gives you guys an example. If you're thinking about bankruptcy, I know it's tough. Some of you guys' situations are a whole lot tougher than mine back in 2007, that's for sure. When you're thinking about houses and investments and assets you guys have that's turning to liability because you're falling behind on payments and things of that nature. I get it. But what I would suggest you do is don't make any rash decisions. Think about it. Think a little more, okay, in where you are right now. Because from my little example, guys, you see how powerful that is, right? Okay, K-2, just want to give you that little example, how I lost access to $233,000. Food for thought, right? All right, guys, we've come too far to forget who we are. So let's take it to another level, raise the bar. Only then can we toast to ancestor stars. Take care of yourselves.